Hello everyone, welcome back to SwitchTop. Today we're counting down 15 fighting games on Nintendo Switch that are actually worth your time. Some are classics, some are hidden gems, but all of them slap. Let's get into it.
Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. So if you've ever played Persona 4 or 5, you already know the vibe. Ultimax is a 2D anime fighter built on top of that RPG universe, and it works way better than it has any right to. You pick characters from the Persona series like Yu, Yosuke, or Labrise, and each one fights using their persona, which is basically a spirit that shows up mid-combo to wreck your opponent. The gameplay mixes classic 2D fighting with auto combos for beginners and deep meter management for veterans. There's a full story mode that picks up after the events of the original game, throwing your crew into a new crisis inside the TV world. It won't spoil the RPGs, but it does reward fans who know the lore. Online play is solid on Switch, and the roster feels fresh every match because every character plays completely differently. If you like anime fighters or you're already a Persona fan, this one's an easy pick. Samurai Shodown is one of those games that punishes button mashing hard, and honestly, that's refreshing. Set in feudal Japan, you pick from a roster of sword-wielding warriors, each with their own weapon, fighting style, and backstory tied to a dark supernatural threat spreading across the land. The gameplay is weapon-based and slow compared to most fighters. Every hit does massive damage, so one wrong move can cost you a round in seconds. There's a rage meter that builds as you take damage, and when you cash it out, you can deliver a screen-clearing rage explosion or a single brutal Ison slash that ends lives instantly. Matches feel tense like a real duel. You're reading your opponent, waiting for openings, not just mashing. The Switch version runs smooth and the roster covers old-school SNK favorites, plus some newer faces. Under Night in Birth 2 is a 2D fighter that doesn't get nearly enough attention, and that's a crime. The game is set in a world where a monthly phenomenon called the Hollow Night swallows cities in darkness, and creatures called voids roam freely. The characters you play called In-Births have awakened special powers called EXS during these events, and they're all tangled up in a bigger conflict involving rival factions. Gameplay-wise, it's sharp and technical. There's a GRD system, a tug-of-war meter shared between both players, and controlling it unlocks a powered-up state mid-match. Every character has a unique movement style and toolkit, so learning the roster takes time but feels rewarding. Combos are satisfying to land, defense requires actual thought, and the neutral game is genuinely deep. The story mode has tons of dialogue and lore if you want to dig in. Blade Strangers is a crossover fighter that pulls characters from indie games like Cave Story, Shovel Knight, Umihara Kawase, and a few others, and throws them into a single tournament-style story. A rogue AI is draining data from multiple game worlds, so warriors from each universe get summoned to stop it. The gameplay is a simplified 4-button system: light, medium, heavy, and a special button making it accessible but not completely shallow. Chains and combos build naturally, and each character has their own specials that reflect their home game. Shovel Knight plays differently from quote from Cave Story, and that variety keeps things interesting. The roster is small, around 20 characters, but the game focuses on clean, readable gameplay over complexity. It runs great on Switch in both handheld and docked mode. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. This collection is straight-up nostalgia fuel packed with 6 classic arcade titles: Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and The Punisher as a bonus beat-em-up. Each game has its own era and feel, but the crown jewel is Marvel vs. Capcom 2, a chaotic 3 vs. 3 tag fighter with 56 characters and some of the fastest, most explosive gameplay ever made. You're building teams, calling assists, snapping in characters mid-combo, and the screen never stops moving. The earlier games are simpler, but still a blast. X-Men vs. Street Fighter was many people's first taste of the tag format. The collection includes online multiplayer, rollback netcode, save states, and arcade-accurate emulation. The King of Fighters 98 is widely considered one of the greatest 2D fighting games ever made. No story mode, no gimmicks, just pure tournament-focused gameplay with a massive roster. It takes characters from the entire KOF history up to that point and throws them into a dream match format so everyone shows up, including fan favorites who had died in the actual storyline. You build a team of 3 fighters and battle through opponents in sequence, switching between characters as each one gets knocked out. The Advanced and Extra modes give you 2 different gameplay feels. Advanced is aggressive with run mechanics, Extra focuses on max mode charge play. Every character has real depth, distinct tools, and a matchup complexity that rewards serious study. Combos are satisfying but not flashy for the sake of it. The Switch version runs well and includes online play. Guilty Gear. 20th Anniversary. 2 games that helped define the anime fighter genre back in the late 90s and early 2000s. The original game is raw and rough around the edges, an underground rock soundtrack, gothic character designs, and a story about bioweapons called Gears Threatening Humanity. Gameplay is fast, aggressive, and technically demanding for its era. Guilty Gear X refines everything: smoother animations, better balance, more characters, and a cleaner system overall. Characters like Saul Bad Guy, Kai Kiske, Milia Rage, and Zato 1 all start developing their iconic identities here. For fighting game fans who want to trace where the series began before jumping into Strive or XRD, this is the entry point. The Switch version handles both games cleanly. It's not the flashiest package, but these 2 games represent genuine fighting game history, the blueprint that Arc System Works built an entire legacy on. Streets of Rage 4 is a beat-em-up. Not a traditional fighter, but it belongs on this list because the combat is that good. Set years after the original trilogy, Axel, Blaze, and a new crew hit the streets of Wood Oak City after the Y Syndicate led by the children of the original villain Mr. X takes over. Each character plays differently. Axel is a power brawler, Blaze is fast and technical, Cherry is a zoner with guitar attacks, and Floyd is a grappler beast. The combat system rewards aggression. You lose health when you use special moves, but you can recover it by landing regular hits immediately after. That mechanic alone creates constant tension. Combo chains feel fluid and satisfying, and the screen fills with enemies constantly. The game looks gorgeous with hand-drawn art and moves with incredible speed. 4-player co-op on Switch is an absolute blast. Boss fights are tough and memorable. Shredder's Revenge is the Turtles beat-em-up that fans had been waiting decades for. You pick from Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael, April, Splinter, or Casey Jones, and you brawl through 16 stages packed with Foot Clan soldiers, classic villains, and huge boss fights. The gameplay pulls from the original Konami arcade games, but adds modern touches: a dodge roll, a taunt system that charges your super meter, aerial launchers, and team-up attacks in co-op. Each character has their own stats and special moves that actually change how you play. Raphael hits hard and slow, Mikey is fast and combo-focused, Donnie has range. The variety keeps things fresh across the roster. 6-player online and local co-op means the whole group can play together, and the chaos is genuinely hilarious. The art style nails the original cartoon perfectly, and the soundtrack goes hard. Ultra Street Fighter II is Capcom's enhanced Switch-exclusive version of Street Fighter II, one of the most important games ever made. The classic roster is all here: Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Guile, Blanca, Zangief, and the rest. plus 2 new characters, Evil Ryu and Violent Ken, added specifically for this release. You can toggle between the original pixel art and a redrawn HD art style. Gameplay is Street Fighter II at its core, 6-button layout, fireball motions, charge characters, footsies, and frame-perfect reads. Every character has tight, defined strengths and weaknesses, and the matchup chart is deeply studied. There's a Way of the Hado first-person mode that's more of a novelty, but the real value is in the versus and arcade modes with clean online play. Street Fighter II basically created competitive fighting games as we know them. The zoning, the neutral game, the entire language of the genre starts here. King of Fighters 13 is the most technically demanding game on this list, and it's also one of the most rewarding fighters ever made. The story wraps up the Ash Crimson saga, a long-running plot across multiple KOF games involving a mysterious young man manipulating teams and stealing fighters' powers to pursue something much darker. The roster is stacked with classic and new characters, and the Team of 3 format is back with full tag mechanics. What separates 13 is its HD combo system hyperdrive cancel chains that let you link specials into supers into more specials and extended sequences that are genuinely jaw-dropping to watch and insanely difficult to execute consistently. Every character has a full combo route to master. Defense, offense, meter building, and team order all matter deeply. It's a game that respects your time investment because the ceiling is incredibly high. BlazBlue CentralFiction is the closing chapter of the main BlazBlue storyline, an enormous, lore-heavy narrative about a world shaped by an all-powerful being called the Master Unit, and the factions fighting to control or destroy the timeline. The story mode alone has hours of visual novel-style content with full voice acting and branching paths. On the gameplay side, this is an extremely deep 2D anime fighter. Each character has a unique overdrive ability that changes their game plan entirely when activated. The drive system unique per character means Ragna plays completely differently from Noel, who plays nothing like Hakumen. Combos are long, technical, and expressive. The HUD has multiple meters to manage simultaneously. For new players, there's an Abyss mode and tutorial content to ease in, but make no mistake, this game rewards serious study. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the biggest fighting game ever assembled, and that's not an exaggeration. Over 80 playable characters, more than 100 stages, thousands of spirits, and a massive World of Light adventure mode that builds its own story around Gleam, an angelic destroyer, who erases all life and traps every fighter's spirit. The gameplay is platform-based. You're trying to knock opponents off the stage rather than drain a health bar, and damage percentage builds how far you fly when hit. Every character is pulled from Nintendo's history and beyond. Mario, Link, Samus, Pikachu, Sonic, Cloud, Joker, Steve from Minecraft, Sora from Kingdom Hearts, all playing uniquely. Movement, spacing, offstage edgeguarding, recovery, and reading momentum are all core skills. The game works beautifully in handheld mode and absolutely shines with 8 players in the same room. The Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection is a museum and a playable archive rolled into one. It covers the full journey from the original Street Fighter through Street Fighter III. Third Strike 12 games total, each representing a different era of one of the most important series in gaming history. You get both versions of Street Fighter II, the Alpha series, and the full SF3 trilogy. The crown jewel here is Third Strike, a masterwork of 2D, fighting with a parry system that changed competitive play forever, and a jazz-influenced soundtrack that still sounds incredible today. 4 games have online play with rollback netcode: Hyper Fighting, Super Turbo, Alpha 3, and Third Strike. The collection also includes a timeline, character bios, music players, and original arcade cabinet artwork. You can jump between games and feel exactly how the series evolved its mechanics and identity across 15 years. The Capcom Fighting Collection is the best fighting game collection on Nintendo Switch, full stop. 10 games, all from Capcom's golden era. Darkstalkers 1, 2, and 3, Super Gem Fighter, Cyberbots, Red Earth, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Hyper Street Fighter 2, and 2 more, all running in accurate arcade emulation. The star of the collection is Darkstalkers 3, a gothic anime fighter featuring vampires, werewolves, a succubus, a Frankenstein creature, and a haunted bucket, all playing with incredible mechanical depth and personality. The series never got the mainstream respect it deserved, and this collection finally gives it a proper modern home. Red Earth is especially rare, a beautiful fantasy fighter that almost nobody got to play in arcades. Every game has online play with rollback netcode, save states, move lists, and gallery content. And that's the list. 15 fighters on Switch, something for every type of player. Drop your favorite in the comments, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you in the next one.